Welcome everybody to the official launch of the Science Art Research Centre book, The 21st Century Renaissance. As an eZine article global celebrity author, the bulk of the address will be flashed around the world next week. I am therefore obliged to read carefully from the prepared text, which felt like 100 years to collate. This does not give me much room for being a spontaneous speaker, and I usually go off track very quickly, so I have to concentrate. This book has been compiled in liaison with Florence University's New Measurement of Humanity project and the late Professor Wolfgang Weber. Wolfgang was awarded the Albert Einstein Medal of Honor and also the highest award from the Humboldt Society of Science, Art and Education. His research into both the sciences and the arts led him to consider that the Science Art Research Centre of Australia is a leading world authority on the human survival theories of Sir C.P. Snow. C.P. Snow's book, published in 1959 about the widening gulf between the cultures of art and science, that was the book mentioned in the Times Literary Supplement. They published that his book was amongst the 100 most important books written since World War II. The Centre's research showed Snow's survival theories to be correct. Our present understanding of universal energy is incomplete. All of science, in particular fossil fuel economic rationalism, is governed by an unbalanced understanding of energy. The controlling energy law is only about universal chaos and is not only polluting the planetary environment, but it is systematically accelerating us toward World War III or even worse. Many feel emotionally that a global change of consciousness is occurring in order to prevent such disaster. Nanotechnology has revealed that the molecule of emotion, discovered in 1972, is trying to guide our evolution towards infinity, based upon the sacred geometrical vibrational dance of life within DNA. Although that idea is inconceivable within present mainstream science, it once represented the objective of the ancient Greek science of the 3rd century BC. The molecule of emotion corresponds to the atomic disposition of the ideal thought forms, representing universal platonic love within the science for ethical ends. In its sister science in ancient Greece, the science of universal love was Epicurus's atom of emotional sense perception, which predicted the discovery of the molecule of emotion. Both sciences completely defy Einstein's worldview of reality, in which all life in the universe must be destroyed. Some 800 years ago, in the 5th century AD, the Great Library of Alexandria had been burned, its custodian, the mathematician Hypatia, raped and murdered by a Christian mob, and Plato's mathematics was banished by Saint Augustine as the work of the devil. Plato was later forgiven for being born a pagan and made one of the great fathers of the church. With Platonic love and the work of the devil going jointly hand in hand, a violent, entropic, schizophrenic mentality came into existence, plunging Western civilization into the Dark Ages, where it remains at the moment. This conflict between emotion and science is globally cancerous. We can stop it from going terminal by revealing a new quantum biology medical science to guide ennobling government. The origins of the new medical science comes from ancient Greece. Only part of it was used to construct the Constitution of the United States of America, which has evolved now into plutocracy, ruled by money, rather than creating a truly great democracy. However, that democracy can still become the torch of liberty for the entire world. When the American Constitution was written, the concept of human liberty, depicted as the all-seeing eye on the top of that pyramid on the banknote, the dollar, was placed upon the Great Seal of America. The eye is not human vision, it is an inner mind's eye. Its real scientific meaning was only discovered last century in the unpublished papers of Sir Isaac Newton. The Christian Church apparently banished this knowledge by declaring the papers to be an insane criminal heresy. This helps to explain the intrigue surrounding the angels and demons conflict in Dan Brown's book, The Da Vinci Code, as the Knights Templar believed that Christ was the greatest teacher of the ancient atomistic science of universal love. However, Pythagoras' science of liberty is now well understood. Nanotechnology has photographed the reality of Newton's heretical balanced universe. As I pointed out in my book, The True Meaning of the Da Vinci Code, Leonardo da Vinci never understood about the hidden atomic messages of codes in his mentor's work. That was Botticelli and Ghirlandaio, and the codes are quite clear once you get it. Today we know they were the very foundation of the Italian Renaissance. And I thank Ian Wardle here today for his gift to the centre of the 1,700-year-old Roman coins, which are on display upstairs in the cabinet, that shed some light on this centuries-old religious conflict that has engulfed spiritual or holographic science. It's turned it into a complete hash. The engineer Buckminster Fuller echoed C.P. Snow's human survival warning in his book Utopia or Oblivion. Fuller's theories become the basis of a Fullerian chemistry upholding a new medical science, instigated by the three 1996 Nobel laureates in chemistry. Fuller had derived his theories of a balanced universe from the work of the philosopher Plato. In order to accommodate that knowledge into a sustainable new medical science, we changed the name of its chemistry to Platonic Fullerene chemistry. I have no real understanding of how this is happening, but hundreds of pages of Google listings show that our new chemistry is slowly but surely influencing current chemistry research, education throughout the world. The Roman Emperor Justinian, during the 5th century AD, banished Plato's Academy from the Roman Empire as a pagan institution. During the 15th century, Cosimo Medici appointed Marsilio Ficino to administrate the restoration of the university near Florence. The Harvard University Press states that Ficino's Italian Renaissance was based upon the book entitled Plato's Theology. During the 1990s, the centre used Platonic mathematics to discover the nature of life force energies acting through 30 million years of space-time into the future and back. This was reprinted as one of the 20th century's important discoveries by the world's largest technological institute. Einstein logic can only generate deformed futuristic life form images, and so modern science can be seen to be, and I've got to say this word slowly, carcinogenic, cancerous. The 1937 Nobel laureate in medicine, St. Georgi, wrote that the evolution of consciousness was entangled with Einstein's chaos energy. He considered that this constant intuitive mind-emotion conflict with our scientific culture was responsible for cancerous energies pervading every aspect of global civilization. Giordano Bruno, considered to be the father of modern science, taught about the science of universal love at Oxford University. Upon returning to Rome, he was imprisoned, tortured, and burnt alive by the Roman Church. Plato's theories come from Anaxagoras' theory of creation, derived from the mythological mathematics belonging to the ancient Egyptian creator god Atum, Atom, who, in the Bible, proclaimed, "Let there be light." Plato's dictum that all is geometry included a spiritual reality before light and matter came into existence, contrary to Einstein's totally physical science. The Egyptian worship of Maat, the goddess of truth, mercy and compassion, was held to prevent the universe from reverting to chaos. This was the opposite to the mathematical worship of the Babylonian goddess of war and prostitution, Ishtar. Leonardo da Vinci was taught Babylonian mathematics by Fibonacci, but he knew nothing about the Egyptian emotional mathematical theology. Leonardo settled for the completely mechanical universe, later inherited by Albert Einstein. Plato's spiritual optical engineering principles were corrected by history's father of optics, Al-Haytham, during the golden age of Islamic science. Plato, Al-Haytham and other philosophers such as Philo, Plotinus and Hesiod had warned that by using the senses, in particular the eye, as the source of cosmic knowledge, the destructive properties of unformed matter from the atom would emerge to destroy civilization. Da Vinci, Descartes and Sir Francis Bacon, pivotal figures in bringing in the mechanistic industrial age, used the eye as the source of all knowledge. Einstein made exactly the same mistake. During 1924 to 1927, the worldview of quantum mechanics was that visual observation affects reality. Einstein's E=mc² did allow the ancient unformed matter to emerge from the atom. However, the atomic bomb is now a child's toy compared to the design of undetectable, invisible nuclear nanobombs now on the international drawing boards. This is a very serious situation and we must address it very soon. The book, The 21st Century Renaissance, explains how Einstein developed his worldview from the use of the sacred geometries associated with the mythological mathematics used in the worship of ancient Babylon's goddess Ishtar. Ishtar's sexual mathematics are very complex. I wouldn't want to go into the class anyway. But it appears that Einstein's colleague, the Nobel Prize winner and mathematician Lord Bertrand Russell, was influenced by Ishtar's teaching. During the 20th century, Russell became Britain's best-known advocate of free love and sex. His first 3 marriages became sordid sexual dramas in the British courts, and in 1940 his professorial position at the College of New York was annulled by a police court order as being immoral literature. Bertrand Russell's most famous essay was entitled A Free Man's Worship, in which he advocated we must worship Einstein's worldview, demanding the total entropic extinction of all life in the universe. In 1957, the University of New York Library of Science published a book called Babylonian Myth and Modern Science, in which Einstein was held to have derived his theory of relativity from the mythological mathematics of ancient Babylon. The solution to this energy crisis is simple. Buckminster Fuller alluded to this in his world game theory for the betterment of the global human condition. In Fuller's own words, make the world work for 100% of humanity in the shortest possible time through spontaneous cooperation without ecological offence or the disadvantage of anyone. IBM's supercomputer Deep Blue beat the world chess champions, and their supercomputer Watson beat America's best players at the more complex game Jeopardy. The Science Art Research Centre of Australia is now only interested in helping to create the Fuller's Snow supercomputer program. The new game, containing thousands of years of relevant negentropic speculations, will raise our chaotic consciousness into a comprehension of Fuller's infinite synergetic universe. People can then play the game of life in order to upgrade human survival consciousness. All these vibrating atoms is all for real. The resultant Platonic Fullerian chemistry, medical science, gives legal status, thank you, doctor. Given legal status, they can then guide the ennobling government based on the issue of global security and nanotechnology super-wealth for all. And thank you very, very much for coming to here. Now, just before I finish, if anyone would like to get 3 attachments on the email, please leave your email address for me and I can send them. One is that, yes, I have been officially mentioned as an artist by the government. The second one was the attack on my work, this work, by the scientific establishment and the Medical Observer, the science writer for the Medical Observer coming to my aid. And in that article, he predicted that Robert Pope, look, don't worry about the theory so much, he's going to bring in a new renaissance. That was in 1988. And I'll be very happy to send you that evidence, and then I would like to send you a copy of the essay timeline from the e-zine. So if anyone wants that, they're not long, but they'll bring the whole thing into focus, I hope. And thank you all for being here.